Internet, it's me. Tonight I watched A Quiet Place Part 1. And, or Day 1, sorry. Right off the bat, first thing I want to say is the movie ends on the song Feeling Good by Nina Simone. So, just 10 out of 10 for that. Such an amazing song. No, I really... Going into this movie the first time I saw it, because this is not the first time, I wasn't sure what to expect. Because when I saw the very first movie, it starts off already in the apocalypse, and it tells a fairly self-contained story. Everything's really good. Like, they start off with the monsters already there, and they establish pretty quick, they hunt by sound. And then by the end of it, they're like, by using this other sound, we can hurt them. So, it wraps everything up. It gives you the backstory, as much of it as you need to understand what's going on. It builds the world out a little. It does its thing. And that seemed fine. I didn't think there needed more. And then there was a sequel, which I have not seen, which is ironic for reasons I'll explain later on. And then they did the prequel. And I went and saw the prequel, and I just saw it again tonight. And man, I really dig it. I like how... they explain the aliens and people discover, through experimentation that, if you're quiet, they don't go after you. I have a problem, though, because they kind of break their own rule, and, I'm trying to reconcile it, that the aliens hunt by sound. So if you make a sound, they go to where that sound is and they kill you. So, if I were to, let's say the aliens exist. So I come into a room, I slam a door. The aliens are going to target that door. So, let's say I made that noise and I hear the aliens coming. All I have to do is stand over here in the opposite corner of the door and don't make any noise. They're going to come, they're going to destroy the door. There's not going to be a person where they destroyed the thing, and I'm no longer making noise, so they can't see me using their sense, and I'm safe. But for some reason, in the movie, half the time they understand that. When a car alarm goes off, the aliens jump on and attack that car. When the helicopters are going by with the loudspeaker, they chase that helicopter. So, they know to target the noise. So then at the end of the movie, when the guy is running down the dock toward the boat, and he accidentally kicks a can, all the aliens charge towards him. Which, first of all, they were way on the other side and still actively destroying cars. There should have been some noise from them, their weight shifting on the car, or the wreckage of the cars, or whatever else they were doing, that they wouldn't have heard the can. But let's assume they did. Super human hearing, whatever. He was still running down the dock. By the time they got there, they shouldn't have been chasing or targeting him. They should have gone to where that can was, and he would have been half a football field away at the end of the dock. So I wish they were more consistent with the whole rule of the sound thing. But other than that, honestly, I don't have a lot of problems with the movie. I don't have many nits to pick. I love the main character. She's great. And I'm going to nerd out on the storytelling here, because I love a good story, and I love when things are set up in a way that they pay off later on, but it doesn't feel forced. I don't know if I have any good examples offhand, but there's some media where, they will basically telegraph what they're going to do way early on. They'll set up a character, Lady in the Water, perfect movie. No, not a perfect movie. Garbage movie. Perfect example, though. In that movie, there's the character who's always working out his arm, and he's just got that strong arm because he feels like he needs to. And then, everyone else in the plot does this thing that's just abnormal, but will be important and convenient later on. But they constantly stress that they feel like they have to do this thing, and I feel like it's important, and blah, blah, blah. And they keep focusing on these random, weird traits they gave these characters. So by the time you get to the end of the movie, and suddenly all these characters have to do this one specific thing they've always been doing, and conveniently each of them has the skill that will help to solve this situation, it's just, it feels so forced and so convenient and so spoon-fed that it's not a good payoff. Like, you don't feel satisfied afterward. Whereas in this movie, right away, the main character is dying. She has a terminal disease. You find out she's in hospice. Later on, you hear one of her poems where she talks about, learning to count and do subtraction, and like years going to months, going to days, going to hours. Like, you understand that she's dying. So when this apocalypse kind of happens, and the guy she meets eventually even says at one point, "I feel like the world's ending." It makes perfect sense that she would accept that, and all of a sudden you understand why she, excuse me, why she reacts the way she does, and why she's been so calm and nonchalant almost about everything. Because to her, the world was already ending. She already accepted she's about to die. She's going to leave everything behind regardless. She is done. So, whether it's her world ending or the whole world ending, the outcome's the same to her. So, she doesn't really care. Yes, the events happening around her are still, just insane and preposterous and completely unbelievable, but at the end of the day, she's still going to die, whether it's the aliens, whether it's her sickness, whether it's whatever. So her reactions fit, and I like that. It's written very well. And there's something else that I wanted to mention that I just thought was written amazingly well, and now I'm drawing a blank, which is unfortunate. But just overall, I don't know. I really like how everything plays out in this movie. I think it's very well done. I love the acting. Again, I cannot stress enough how great the actors are. In a movie like this where you have to be mostly silent, I feel like if you pull it off, the actors just shine that much more. Like, you really understand how good they are, because they can still emote and express things and convey a message or an emotion or a thought process or their intentions without words. If your nonverbal acting and your body language and your stature and everything about you is so good that you can convey everything without speaking, that's incredible. And everyone in this movie does it so well. I absolutely love it. I really, genuinely, really love this movie. And yes, I said really twice in that sentence because I'm terrible with words. But yeah, it's very well done. I guess I can think of a couple of the nitpicks now, just everything's replaying in my head. Mostly I'm trying to remember the other thing I want to talk about, but it's gone. But like the cat. It's fine to have a cat in the movie. Not mad about the cat. What I don't understand is why there's a scene where the cat inexplicably, I cannot stop yawning. I need to get my breathing under control and stop talking through breaths. The cat follows the guy to the pharmacy when he's looking for the medicine for our main character. And he sees the cat. It startles him at first. But then, as he's walking back, presumably with the medicine, you never actually see him pick it up, but you assume he does because he has it later. The cat wanders off, and for whatever reason, he decides he needs to follow the cat. This whole movie, the cat's kind of been doing whatever the hell it wanted. The way he initially saw the cat was it wandered off to a different alley away from its owner, and he saw the cat there. So it's just been doing its own thing this whole time. Clearly, it is self-sufficient. He doesn't need to follow it. So that whole scene didn't need to happen. It doesn't make sense. It's fine. It was interesting how it played out. We got to see the aliens with like their little pods or whatever, and what essentially looks like a spawning ground for them. But we didn't need to see it story-wise. Like, it doesn't make sense that we did. So I wish they could have found a different way to get to that scene. Because it did look cool. There were good visuals. It was interesting to see, but the reason we saw it just didn't make sense. That he should not have followed that cat. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, without just talking about all the individual scenes where I thought the acting stood out or I thought something looked really cool, um, or just further harping on the sound thing where, you make a sound here, you're safe. That's all it takes. Just don't be there. Um, that a couple times that would have been the solution, but for some reason it wasn't. And I know movie, but I don't know. It's in the grand scheme of things, it's a small thing. It doesn't really affect the movie. It's still very fun to watch. I'd give it a solid 8, maybe 8.5. It's very enjoyable. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say, really. Also, I'm apparently just going to keep yawning forever, so if I don't stop this, I might just deprive myself of oxygen and die here on camera, and then who would post this video? So I'm going to stop and go, which are antonyms, so that's a very nonsensical sentence. But thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.